Hello, friends. Very good evening. Thank you for joining this live stream. Uh, this is my first stream. I'm not expecting a lot of people to join, but it's a good, it's a good first session. So I request, whoever has joined, if you can just, send me a message if you are you able to hear me clearly or not. Great. Just give me one more minute, and I will just kind of set up the laptop for showing the chart that I wanted to. Thank you, Manishi. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Perfect. So let me, start with, sharing my presentation on what do I think are the relevant stocks, which I feel are setting up well. And this session will also be recorded, so it will also be on my YouTube video as such. So I'll just share my screen now. Second. All right. So I'll start with the Nifty 500 first. Because that this is the index that I track, and as I have been saying in some of my videos, the reason why I track Nifty 500 and not so much of Nifty is because Nifty 500 is a representation of 500 stocks, and it gives a better idea of the entire stock market as such more than Nifty. So there's a lot of discussion which happens around Nifty, but we should be aware that Nifty is a representation of only the top 50 stocks, right? So it's better if you want a better sense of the market, CNX 500 is a better index to track, right? So if you look at the CNX 500, it is on the weekly charts. It's in a very good uptrend, and if you look at all the weekly candles, it's been in a very good, higher high, higher low kind of a mode, except for the little dip that we saw. And last week, though there was a lot of noise, even then, we can see that actually, the index created a higher high and a higher low, even last week, right? So, it's in a fairly good bull trend as such. Now, where is the concern? If you look at the daily charts, we can see that the market is kind of struggling a bit to create new highs. So if you see this, it came till almost here, which is 2219. Then it went here. Now it tried to again go back, but didn't give a very clean breakout, and it has been really going up and down here. So it's expected because it's facing some resistance at this level clearly. But if you look at the candle just before the previous week, it was a very good hammer candle, and last week was like indecisive. So we are still in a good zone, but it is kind of just hopping around right now. So we have to see that if it were to clearly break out, we might see one another uptrend, which might emerge. But overall, the market is in a good uptrend, but we have to be a little careful in the short term as such on the daily trend, right? So after every index or stock that I speak about, I will just go back to the chat and see if there's any question. And if there's any question, feel free to ask me there. Great. All right. Now I'll go to. I want to first talk about the Adani stocks. I feel the Adani stocks are in a in a peculiar zone right now, all of them, and we might see some interesting price action happening in the coming days or weeks. So if you look at this price action of Adani Energy Solutions, he have a very good upswing here, and then is in a very tight zone right now. on the weekly charts, right? So it is just kind of staying very, very tight. So if it were to break out of this line, which is around 11,000 or 1,160, as such, we might see a very good price action on the upper side. But we'll have to wait and watch what happens, because one of the concerns with the Adani stocks is that the PE ratio is very, very high, right? But this is a very clean upswing, and this only happens when institutions participate. This cannot be just due to the retailers, right? So I'm assuming that, if it were to break out, we'll see very clean action on the upside, on the Adani Energy side, right? Similarly, Adani Total Gas, right? Very similar chart. The one difference there is slightly floating above the resistance, which is even better, right? So again, that price action is very tight. If you have studied Bollinger Bands, this is a classic like Bollinger Squeeze pattern. So the stock is going to break out on one side or the other, right? So looking at the price action, this looks like in a stage two. So the probability is higher that it should break out on the upper side, but we have to wait and watch. So if it were to start breaking out on the upper side, it might be a very good time to get in. If you look at even the Adani Energy Solutions, just look at the volumes here and here on these two candles. Similarly, on Adani Total Gas, again here and here the volumes are very good, right? Now, if you were to go to Adani Power is a little different story, because it has been in a clear uptrend, and right now it is kind of consolidating here. So it's in a very good uptrend as such. And if it were to again break out of this resistance, we might see another uptrend here. Now, one thing to note in the daily time frame is look at the volumes. The volumes here when it was rising up were very good, and now it's in a just look at this, right? It's in a classic squeeze and so low volumes, right? So this is usually a good indication of a flag pattern, but this is a large flag, so we're waiting for from a long time. If it were to again break out of this resistance zone, which is around 580, we might see another good uptrend in this. So all the Adani stocks are kind of in a tight squeeze. So I am assuming something big is going to happen, in Adani in the coming days and weeks. That is what the price action is telling us, but we'll have to wait and watch. Next, Asian Paints. Asian Paints have again, covered in my social channels also, that if you look at the weekly charts, it has been consolidating in this zone for very long. So typically, if you see here, it kind of took the resistance, came down, it took the support, came up, took the support, came up, again took resistance here, came down, again took this resistance here, came down, and again took some resistance just below, it's come down. So I'm assuming that this is the zone in which it is again going to take some support, right? So it'll either take support at 2700, or will take support at 2550, right? So in one of these two, it should reverse. I feel it might just reverse from here, because look at the previous week candle, it's a hammer again, right? So and I think the bears would have also got tired by now. So I'm assuming that this should reverse from here. Now, this is a good pattern for usually option sellers, right? So you can sell a put just below this, and you can sell a call just above this, right? When the stock is coming near the resistance, you can sell a call. When the stock is coming near the near the support, you can sell a put, right? For option sellers, I'm talking about, right? So usually this kind of pattern helps the option sellers. But if it were to, let's say you were to kind of go long here, somewhere around here, and if it were to break this particular support zone, then blindly just exit your positions. If you had some loss, it's fine, but blindly exit your positions, because if it were to start going below this, we will see further drop in this stock till here maybe, right? This is like the resistance, sorry, support area. So we might see some kind of a drop till here, which is till again 2300, right? Unlikely, in my opinion. I think this should be the zone where it will reverse, but if it does, then that is what you should do. Okay. Next, I'll talk about Avanti Feed. Avanti Feed, is been almost like a stock which has not been in news for a long time, but now there's some very interesting price action developing in this. This is kind of, what we call a stage one, and it has kind of come out of the stage one. And if you look at the price action after this breakout, it is very good. So if you see, it has, been continuously taking support at the support level. And just look at this candle, it has kind of breaking out again, rising up again, and it has some very good volume in the last 1 week, right? Just look at this candle, right? So it's a very good candle, very bullish candle, and the pattern also look very good. Now I'm not going very deeper into how am I shortlisting this pattern, why is this pattern good, and all that, what stage and all that, because that's a larger topic. But the idea is to basically kind of give you some stocks which are interesting. I'll just take a pause and see if there are any questions. Feel free to let me know if you want me to cover any stock. I'll try to do that as well. Okay, right. Uh, Now going to Signity Tech. So Signitech is a tech company. This I shortlisted because I again felt it's in a making a good price action. If you see, it's been in a good decent uptrend. Um, Early stage two, not very late stage two right now. And I like this whole uh, curvy pattern in which the stock is consolidating, and it has in the recent day shown a good rise here. So I think this is a good stock to get in, as such, because of the way in which this price action is forming. I'll try to draw it for you and show why I like it. And why is it good? I'll have to explain it some other day, but I'll try to see if I can draw it. Let's see if I can do that here. So if you see like this, and then like this, right? So this is typically a very good price action if you get this kind of a curvy nature in any stock, right? And why is it like that? I'll talk on some other day, but there's a good price action and the last candle is good. The stock seems to have reversed, right? And if you look at the 20-day moving average has just crossed the 50-day moving average also here, right? So again, that's a good signal, right? So this is a decent stock. We can keep that in perspective. Havels, there's been a lot of discussion about Havels, I think, on the TV also. Uh, yeah, I mean, it has definitely broken out of its resistance. On the weekly chart, if you see, there was a large resistance here. It has broken out with very large volumes here. And now we have to just wait and watch how does it behave. So usually, sometimes what happens is if the stock were to break out, it sometimes gives a false breakout, comes back, take support at 50-day moving average or 20-day moving average and goes back again. So that is the only thing to look at, will it fall back, right? And it is a little above the 50-day moving average. So you can wait to see what happens in the next 2 or 3 days. But from a longer term perspective, I feel is a very good price action. And if it were not to be a failed breakout, we could definitely get into Havels also from a longer term perspective, as such, because if you look at it has been consolidating, since 21, right? And now it is 24, right? So almost whatever 2.5 years or so. So long consolidation. So once the stock breaks out after long consolidation, we get some very good price action as well. So keep a watch. Just wait and watch that it doesn't give you a failed breakout. And if that doesn't happen, then we can get in. See, if it happened here, right? I mean, if you look at this, yeah, and sorry, if you look at this time, tried to break out and then, it kind of gave a failed breakout. And after that, it just kind of kept consolidating. So anybody who got in here, did not get a good return, right? So that is the reason I'm saying just keep a watch that it doesn't give a failed breakout. And if it doesn't, if it comes, let's say something like this, right, it has gone up, right? Let's say it comes here and it again begins to rise. This is the perfect price action that we would love to see. Right? Let's say that doesn't happen. It goes like this and it comes back and keeps falling. Then it is a problem. which I don't think will happen. Probability is less, but it could come inside also, right? It could come inside also, and then again, try to go back. So I'm assuming either it, takes support here or it comes inside and then goes back up. These are three possible scenarios. Straight away goes up, takes support here and goes up, comes inside and goes up, right? So we have to just wait and watch which one of the three is happening and then get into it accordingly. But I'm bullish on Havells, as such, looking at the price action. Inox Green, again, classic base formation. Um, if you see on the daily charts, after the stock, kind of gave a good upswing, it has been consolidating, and the last 2 days candles are very good. This is also very good, and this is also very good, right? So I feel this is in a good price action. Also, I would request you to check how are the financials of this company once, and if they are good, then this might also be like a good stock to keep in your radar for from a long perspective, as such. And it has taken support around the 50-day moving average, so that's also a good sign. And again, this is also a very good base formation as such, which I'm seeing. So Inox Green is a good one to keep a watch. Last one that I would like to speak about is Voltas. So Voltas is in a is in a classic stage two now. Okay. So what that means is, it was consolidating from a long time in stage one. It has broken out and has given a clean stage two breakout, and it is continuing to do well on the stage two. So in Voltas, any dip in Voltas might be a good time to buy. Even now, it has taken 50-day moving average support. So if it were to the next day candle were to actually you know uh, beat the high of this candle, which is 1091, let's say it opens here and and it tends to go up, then again Voltas is also like looking good to me, right? So Voltas and Havells, somewhere in the manufacturing sector are looking good. Adani stocks are looking good. In the paints FMCG side, Asian Paints is looking good. Tech mein Signity Tech and Avanti Feed. I don't know, what sector even puts it. It's mostly into fisheries. So sometimes they call it into agriculture, but it's into fisheries, as such. So, so that's also looking good to me, right? So this was a short, overview of some of the stocks which I'm finding good in on the price action. I would really request you to provide me any feedback on how you felt the session was. I also have some requests of all of you to follow all my channels. I will put it in the description. There's a YouTube channel from where I'm presenting right now. I've just started that some time back, so it'll be very encouraging to have subscribers like you and have more interactions like this. So please do follow that. And then I also have a Twitter and a Instagram channel and a Telegram channel as well for the Indian markets. Also have a channels for the US market. So please feel free to join that as well. And I've also recently kind of put in a subscription called Silver Members. That's more longer term. I'm thinking that the some of my subscribers were very serious and I want to understand how to actually shortlist these stocks and trade these stocks and all that. I'll do some specific sessions for those members and maybe also do some teaching and some specific stocks with some very decent analysis. I'll put it in that members only section. So if you're interested, please do join that as well. At this time, if you have any questions, I would love to take them. You want me to cover any stock, please let me know. I'm just going back to check. Okay. Madani stocks, great. Let me just check that. One second, I'll open Madani stock and then I'll look at Grasim and Asian Paints also. Okay. Just give me a minute. Just let me look at the price action of this before I comment. Okay. Right. So, Midani is also in a good stage too. I understand that there is some recent development due to which it has fallen, and I don't know, is it because of the earnings, but it's in a decent stage too already. And if you look at the volumes on these candles, right, when it was rising, it was very good. Right now, something happened here, right, and that might be of concern. Now, let's see. This is during the earnings, I'm assuming that the stock has fallen. Maybe the earnings are not that great or something. But having said that, the volumes were not that high in the fall. Okay. So if a stock is in a good uptrend and it has fallen because of earnings and and the candles are not showing very good volume, this is something it's called basically removing the weak hands, right? So some of the retail traders will get fearful and they'll start selling. So this is that kind of a price action, right? So right now I feel it is fine. Now there are two possibilities. The higher possibility for me is if the Nifty were to continue to do well, the market were to continue to do well, and if it were to break out of this red moving average, which is the 50-day moving average, then we're all set, and you should continue to hold. Just keep a track of this 200-day moving average. It is a blue line. If it were to break this, right, and 2 days it stays below the 50 or 200-day moving average, then you can exit. I don't think that will happen. If you look at historically also, it has taken very good support of the 200-day moving average, right? So, but possibility if it falls below this, then you can exit. But if you're already holding, then you should continue. You can continue to hold, right? You can also do a little. You can draw this kind of a small line, right? So almost similar to 50-day moving average. If it were to break this line or to break 200-day moving average, you can look at an exit, right? If you have not taken an entry, should we take an entry right now? I would wait. I would wait for it to break out of the 50-day moving average. And if it were, then we could potentially get into this stock as well, right? But yeah, this fall is a bit of a concern because it's a large fall, but the volumes are not correspondingly very high. That's why, you know, I I feel that it should come back and give us a good uptrend again, provided the stock market remains bullish. Now let me also the question on Asian Paints. I think these Asian Paints, the reason why Asian Paints has fallen, is because of this whole Grasim Paints, the news and all that, which has been floating, right? But if you look at the price action, we are clearly going to see support here, right? If you see the last candle is a hammer candle, okay? Uh, that is uh, that is a good candle. I was also holding Grasim because it had given a good breakout. If I were to look at Grasim and I was doing, there's nothing specific called Grasim Paints, right? This is Grasim Industries. Grasim Industries is the one which I was holding. Please correct me in the chat if there's something specific for Grasim Paints. I'm assuming Grasim Industries is what it is. So I had also got into Grasim Industries here, right? And it is continuing to give a good uptrend, right? Thoda, it was little slow actually. I would have expected this is to be much faster, but it is continuing to move slowly up along with the 50-day moving average. So you can just simply get in at a dip. If it were to touch 50-day moving average, you can get in, and you can get in now also, but it's slightly a bit stretched because it has gone up from 1900 to 2250 almost, right? So and if it continues to just move along this 50-day MA, you can continue to hold it. When it breaks 50-day moving average, this red line, and it kind of stays there for 2-3 days, then you can exit. Between Asian Paints and Grasim, if I were to choose one, I would choose Grasim. Reason being, this is in a clear uptrend already, right? Asian Paints it's not in an uptrend, right? It's consolidating. But certainty is there that यहाँ से it will reverse and it will get some price action till 3500 maybe, right? But Grasim is clearly in an uptrend already. So from a technical charts perspective, uh, anybody will suggest you to be in a stock which is already in an uptrend, right? So this is already in an uptrend. Hence, I'm saying Grasim. Fundamentally, if there is some news and fundamentally if there is some The concern with Grasim, that might be different, that I'm not aware of. But technically speaking, Grasim looks better than Asian Paints. That's my view, and I hope that gives you an answer. Data patterns. All right, let me look at data patterns as well. Correct. Okay. Yeah, perfect breakout. But guys, it's a little extended to get in right now. So this candle, na, ye wala jo candles, right? This was a very good candle to get in. I don't know how I missed it. So it kind of went up. Again, look at this curve, right? And then it broke this candle. Look at the volumes, good volume, right? Even if these two candles are not there, right? If you just look at it like this, right? This was a good volume that time, right? And it was coming out of the 50-day, 20-day, 200-day SMA. It was breaking everything, right? So that this was a good week to get in. Actually, after that, it has given back to back like large candles. So it's very extended right now. So what you should do is now just wait for data patterns to give some consolidation. You have to wait for some more time. Okay, wait for it to give you some kind of a pattern like this. Matlab, ऐसे. Let's say some kind of a consolidating, pattern, like this, right? And then get in. Abhi, it is a bit extended, right? So I would wait, but definitely, stock to keep a watch out for, and wait for some consolidation and then get in, right? If it were to straight go up, then we might not get an entry. But if it were to kind of consolidate of some more time, if it even if it doesn't fall, it is fine. But time wise, thoda sa, if it gives you some consolidation, then it is slightly better. Consolidation ke baad, then we should try to get in this stock. So right now, let's say you buy it at this so much of a stretched extension, and if it were to fall till let's say 20 SMA, then you might face let's say from 2,600 to almost like 2,300. So some 15, 20, 10, 15% ka correction might be a bit high. That's the only reason I'm saying you should wait for some consolidation of data patterns, but the stock looks extremely bullish from a longer term perspective. I also wanted to leave you with one of the stocks that I had gotten. It's done wonderfully well. I will talk about this in the next session, right? So I had got into KPI Green here. You see this? Can you see this particular resistance, right? And I had gotten at this candle. Reason being, this was a very tight consolidation breakout. I had gotten here, and gone up from almost 770 to we can see it in where it is, right? So extremely good, almost 150%, 170% return it has given. And this was my pick on the Diwali day, Muhurat trading. It is on my Instagram and Twitter as well. So a lot of requests have come to suggest as to how did I shortlist this out of the blue. So I'll talk about it, in the next session because it takes me some more time because there's a combination of fundamental and technical analysis. It was not only a technical analysis shortlist. Great. Let me see are there any other questions. So you bought data patterns at 2,700. Okay, let me see that again. 1 minute. 2,600. 1,700 you bought, right? A second. Can you also tell me the date at which you bought? Can you just put it in the chat? I'm assuming you bought it. यहाँ पे कहीं पे you would have bought it, I think. First week of March, is it? So थोड़ा थोड़ा extended पे लिया है आपने. You have bought it in a bit extended time actually. See, whenever you're getting a good breakout, ना, you should always see कि ये 50-day MA से how far it is, right? So if you see It was quite far from 50-day MA the day you bought it. Not that, it is going to give you a loss or something in the longer term, but in the shorter term, you might see some bit of a retracement, right? So, just be watchful of that and don't get scared, if it were to, kind of give you a bit of a retracement, because on the longer term, it looks very, very bullish to me, right? Like, and because it has already gone up so high, we cannot expect it to keep on going like this, right? So that is something called parabolic move otherwise, right? So parabolic moves are not sustainable from a technical perspective. So that is the reason why you might see somewhat of consolidation. So you can hold this stock, there's no problem, right? And technically, uh, if you're not looking for short term gain, and if you're looking for long term, you can hold this. But if you're looking for a short term gain, and if you're feeling scared that it might retrace and you need to know what levels to exit something, just message me separately and I'll get back to you. But right now there's no need to be concerned, though I believe you have kind of bought it a bit high on the higher side. You should have bought it somewhere here, 2000 के आसपास, या maximum 2200, yeah, around, right? So that is what is my view. Okay, so short term horizon, if you were to exit, you know I will give, from a stop loss perspective, there's something called true range, right? So let's say if it were to break this particular candle, I'm going to draw the line for you, which is 25, yeah, 2550 के आसपास. If it were to break 2550, then you can exit on a stop loss. If it were not to break 2550, just keep on holding the stock for now. There is no reason to exit, right? And short term may, if it were to go up, I can also tell you what will be the levels. Uh, okay, yeah, that's going to be on a Fibonacci way to do it actually. One second. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, so it should go up to between 3250 and 3400. This is somewhere it could take some resistance. So you could exit it around 3250 to 3300 in the short term if it were to rise up. But thoda, it might take some time. I believe it will consolidate somewhat and then give a breakout. Okay. And in the consolidation, if it were not to break 20 to 2550, you can continue to hold it, is what I believe. Right. So I hope that helps a bit. Thanks, Salil. I hope it was helpful. But guys, my sincere request, this is just my analysis. Sometimes the analysis can go wrong also. So keep doing your own studies, take your call finally. Again, none of this is like an investment advice. It's just my learning over the last few years, from a technical analysis perspective, and I felt, it will be good to share, as such. So hence I'm doing that. But be on top of your own portfolio. For example, data patterns ka fundamental analysis you should look at. There are some very good websites like Trendline, Screener, or you can also look at Money Control. There are many websites, right? So keep a look on the fundamental charts. Perfect. Thank you, Salil, and thank you, Dr. Manish, Flash, for everybody, for being in this session and listening through. I hope to do more of these. I'm not, I'm not an expert at this yet. This is just my first session as such. So, if you liked it, please do let your other friends know. And I would love to build a community around this, and one day, do a much larger session as well as all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to talking to you again, in the future. Thank you so much. Take care and have a great Sunday, whatever is left. Bye.